Daniel Dubois makes it look easy. Got into the ring, battered AJ for 5 rounds, and then knocked him out. Made it look easy. This was a one-sided beatdown, people. Now, some of you are doing too much in the DM. Yes, I did change my prediction, and we'll break that down right now. So, first of all, let's just congratulate Daniel Dubois on being the IBF World Champion and beating up AJ, and not only beating him up, but making it look easy. So let's start right there. Congratulations to Daniel Dubois. Congratulations to Stanley Dubois. And congratulations to Don Charles and the rest of the team. They've done a great job. I said it to Don Charles when Don Charles was on the Saturday stream. I said it's one of the best rebuilding jobs that I've ever seen with a heavyweight. Daniel Dubois went out there against Joe Joyce. He got beat up. Some say he quit. But people, what we forget is he was really young at the time. He was very, very young. This was throughout COVID as well. So let's not make out like that was who Daniel Dubois is. Daniel Dubois came back and showed us exactly who he is against Jarrell Miller. He put on a great performance against Usyk while he lasted. And we've seen what he did with Hrgovic. So let's give Daniel Dubois credit. Now, what this goes to show me is this, and I'll get into the other stuff in a minute, but not only the British media, but the British boxing fans, they're very one-sided. No one was giving Daniel Dubois credit. Now, people, we can say what we want about my prediction, but go back to the Don Charles interview, then go back to the Saturday stream yesterday, and I'll tell you right now, when Spencer Fearon came out with all of those antics, based on Daniel Dubois' out of the ring character, like very, very shy, very, very adolescent like, no disrespect to the brother, because what he does in the ring is crazy. But I'm thinking, a man like that, and I gave examples too, a man like that needs things to be perfect. And if things out the ring are not perfect, he won't perform in the ring. Take away that, I was one of the few who was saying that he had a chance. People were giving AJ way too much credit for the fight against Ngannou and for the other 2 fights that he had. AJ has not had a meaningful fight since he lost to Usyk. I was one of the few saying it. I don't even need to go into the flashbacks and all of that. I was one of the few saying it, that you cannot take any confidence from the wins AJ had. But people were talking about, my man looks like a killer because he knocked out Francis Ngannou. My man looks dangerous, all of these kind of things. And that was not the case, people. That was not the case. Spencer Fearon came out and said all those things, and that's the only reason why I changed my pick. Now, I said it. I'm happy that Daniel Dubois won. You know why? Because not only is it a passing of the guard, but it shows you that the underdog, you can never count him out. All of the British boxing media counted this man out, bar a few. I told people that all he has to do is train to avoid the right hand. People were talking about he's going to get knocked out bad and all of this kind of stuff. Why would you believe that? Tell me what you seen that he would get knocked out bad. What you seen previous to this that made you think he would get knocked out bad. Andy Ruiz managed to land on AJ flush. Usyk, who is a master at what he does, landed on him flush all night. Helenius landed on him, which is what I said in the Saturday stream. Helenius was landing on him. So what made you think Daniel Dubois couldn't land on him? Daniel Dubois landed on him flush multiple times, made it look easy. Now, we're not going to take no credit away from Daniel Dubois. AJ is just the old guard. This is what happens. It's a passing of the torch fight. And Daniel Dubois delivered. It's a passing of the torch fight. Daniel Dubois went in there and he delivered. He delivered. People get too caught up in the social media antics. People get too caught up. And I fell victim. I did fall victim to the antics over the past few days. I fell victim because I believed that there was issues in the camp. And with there being issues in the camp, there's no way I thought Dubois would be able to keep it together in the ring. But I never counted him out. Even in the Saturday stream, I did not count him out the way how others were. Others were counting him out, talking about how he's going to get knocked out. And AJ, look at what AJ did with Ngannou. I was one of the few saying that Ngannou is an MMA fighter. He's not a boxer. I don't know why we were having the conversation about Ngannou being a factor in this. AJ beating Ngannou had absolutely no effect on him fighting Daniel Dubois. And this is what I said. I said it back then. I said, if the media keep gassing up AJ and he takes any of that false sense of improvement, then he's in for trouble. Dubois, this man's been boxing since he was 7, people. What do you think was going to happen? You think he was going to go in there and freeze up? These men have fought on all kind of global stages. They've been doing it non-stop. When you do something for years, when you do something from you as a child, it becomes second nature to you. AJ never laced up the gloves till he was 18. He didn't lace up his pair of gloves until he was 18. One's done it from 7. One started at 18. What do you think was going... What do you think? You think that Dubois was going to get in there and freeze up? Dubois coming out to go, it's your birthday and bouncing and doing all of that. I told you the type of fighter he is. He's an Ivan Drago type fighter. That he's got his camp, the people them train him, people talk for him. But when he gets in the ring, he does what he does. Look where Joe Joyce is now. Joe Joyce beat him years ago, but look where Joe Joyce is now. Joe Joyce lost to Derek Chisora, meaning obviously Chisora's a solid heavyweight, all the rest of it, but Joyce should have been taking Chisora out, and he did not. And he didn't do it because Joe Joyce is, every man who gets in that ring, you have to give them respect, but he's not a good boxer. Daniel was very, very young at the time when he fought Joe Joyce. And think about it. People were telling Daniel to retire after that fight. Remember this? Remember people? There was people telling him to retire and not telling Billy Joe Saunders to retire. So we have to start looking at the comments that people make. There were people who looked like him telling him to retire, but they weren't telling Billy Joe Saunders to retire. And look where Billy Joe Saunders is now. And look where Daniel Dubois is now. This is why you don't count people out. I never counted him out. AJ has done nothing in his last 3 fights for me to say that he was going to win this and it was going to be easy and he was going to knock him out and all of this. He's done nothing in his last 3 fights. Like I said, I only changed my pick based on Daniel being, I don't like even, he's a very, he's a man who prefers to do his talking in the ring. But when you look at Daniel in interviews and things like that, they'll ask him questions. He's always looking to the side. He's always looking to other people. He's always speaking about his dad. He's always thanking people, meaning like he's always putting his success elsewhere. He's always putting the praise elsewhere. And that is something that don't give me confidence that he'll be able to perform under pressure. And when I say under pressure, I'm not talking about nothing that's going on in the ring. I'm solely talking about everything being perfect. Like he needs, he's going to need to know his dad's good, his brother's good, this one's good, that one's good. When all that stuff was going on in the press and he was actually commenting on it, in my head I was like, damn, if Daniel's not comfortable outside the ring, he's not going to perform inside the ring. But take that away, I believe that Daniel was going to win the fight. And I said that previously in the even in the Don Charles interview. Then after the Don Charles interview in the stream yesterday, when I think it was Aisha, big up yourself, I think it was Aisha who was in the chat, who was saying that Dubois was always going to lose. And I come out and said, come on, Aisha, why would he lose? I gave examples. I said, what has AJ done in his last 3 fights? Did he steamroll that Franklin guy? Did he steamroll Hellenius? Like, not like he didn't steamroll these man. Like Francis Ngannou, you cannot take anything from that. And people were talking about how he's a killer, and they're looking at back in the day, AJ. AJ has had a great run, but it's unfortunately it's over. The train has reached the station. It's over because, yeah, you can fight like, you know, guys outside of the top 5 and you can make big nights, you can make money, but being at the top of the sport again, beating Fury, beating Usyk, beating Dubois, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Dubois beats them all besides Usyk. Straight like that. Dubois beats all of them now. He beats Parker. He beats Zhang. It would be a firefight with Zhang still, but he beats him. He beats Parker. He beats Fury. If you ask me, I think he could beat Fury as well. I think he beats Fury. If he gets Fury hurt, he beats Fury. The only man he don't beat is Usyk. And to be honest, I'm saying it right now. Patreon, somebody clip out this bit. Somebody take this piece out because we're gonna need this in the future. What's gonna happen is this: Usyk will fight Fury. Fury will lose to Usyk again. Dubois will fight an older version of Usyk, and he'll beat Usyk. Clip out this right now, and he will beat Usyk. Clip it out, people. Clip it out. He'll beat Usyk. So, for me, I'm just one of them who I never count out people, especially when the facts are there. And I always back up my talk with examples. And what were those examples? Dubois' last 3 fights. Joshua's last 3 fights. Don Charles was getting no praise from the press. I'll say it straight. Don Charles was getting no praise. When Don Charles come on here, I said, yo, Don, look at the rebuilding job that you've done with Dubois. Why, like, they're not praising you, but they're praising Ben Davison, who hasn't done anything. I could train Joshua for them 3 fights that he had. I could train Joshua for them, but they were praising Ben Davison, but not praising Don Charles. And I was saying this, what has AJ done in his last 3 fights? Now again, based on the discomfort of what was going on outside of the ring, I personally believed that, you know, Dubois' head might not be in it. But from his head's in it, he was always going to be a live opponent. That's the worst beating AJ's ever took. It looked bad at points, man. And I know he went, one thing you got to give him respect for, he went out on his shield. He went out on his shield, man. You can't take that away from him. He went out on his shield, like, he didn't just try and survive. You could see that he tried to give it everything, but he just don't have it. He just don't have it anymore. Dubois made him look amateur, beat him up. And the thing is, this is why all these MMA crossovers, we got to stop them. Leave that to the people that are retiring and the people that are not good enough to make the upper echelon of the sport. Leave those crossovers to them, because AJ doing a whole camp for Ngannou and fighting Ngannou and the press praising him and all of that, that only hurt him. That only hurt him because he went in there against a live heavyweight now with no sort of, he didn't even have a great preparation, because fighting Ngannou and then getting all that praise that is this killer. You're not no killer because you beat up Ngannou. So Dubois done a wonderful thing. It's the new era now. I feel like you can't question Dubois anymore. And British boxing fans are so fickle, but they have to now start understanding that a lot of these media people they're misleading us. It's the YouTubers who are getting it right. I prefer watching the YouTubers over the mainstream media, because the mainstream media, they've lied to us. They gassed up Ngannou. They gassed up AJ after he beat Ngannou, and all while this was going on, Dubois was in the background taking meaningful fights, working with his trainer, and doing what he needed to do. We gotta respect that. This has been going on in the background, and while that's going on, everyone was talking about AJ. The whole of the press wanted AJ to win. Everyone wanted AJ to win so they can see the Fury fight. But this is what happens. Them older guys, Fury, Wilder, AJ, all of these guys that didn't make the fights. It took Turk Al-Sheikh to come in, and now Turk Al-Sheikh's coming, and these fights are getting made. We're seeing what these men are really about. Fury lost, Wilder lost, and AJ has lost. Like, if these fights wouldn't happen, so we'd be all talking about who's the best. Man's a parading around with 3 belts, but not fighting the number 1 contender. Champions not fighting other champions. This is why we get to this place. I'm happy for Daniel Dubois' dad as well, for an accusation of being a Nobia, man. Like that was low, man. That was low in the fight week as well. And I'm gonna keep it real. That threw me off. That threw me off, man, because I was just like, damn, like this is gonna mash him up. If I didn't see Daniel comment on the Spencer Fearon situation, I would have been picking Daniel from the start, just like I was. But because the Spencer Fearon situation was going on, I just thought it might not be something mentally he can overcome. But he did it, man. He did it, and he made it look easy. And all I can say is, you know, onwards and upwards. We've got a new heavyweight champ, and you know he does his fighting in the ring. He don't trash talk. You know, He's not gonna put on no press conference antics or none of that. But what he can do is get in the ring, and he can really, really fight. And Frank Warren, the comeback from Frank Warren as a promoter and Daniel Dubois as a fighter, it's like a match made in heaven, man. I'm happy for them guys, man. Real talk. I'm happy to see these guys on top of the sport and winning in life. And tell Turk Al-Sheikh, get his checkbook out, man, and pay Daniel something crazy again for the next fight, because that was beautiful. What he did there it was clinical, it was beautiful, it was brutal, and he beats them all besides Usyk. Straight like that, he beats them all besides Usyk. And you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, but the media will never learn. They'll probably have him as an underdog in his next fight. The media will never learn. Boxing is about levels. It's about levels, and you only get to that next level by taking on those challenges. Just like a video game, man. It's just like when you used to, back in the day, I had the Sega Mega Drive, and we'd play Sonic, and you'd get through a level, and at the end of the level, you had to fight a boss, and then you'd go up to the next level, and at the end of the level, you'd fight a boss. Same in Streets of Rage, same in Golden Axe. There was always a boss. You had to beat that boss to get to the next level. But these men are not beating bosses and then claiming that they're at the next level. Dubois and Don Charles is a match made in heaven. Don Charles has improved Daniel Dubois. It's been crazy. Just look what he's did. Look where Daniel Dubois was when he got with Don Charles. Look where people thought he was a journeyman. People thought that he was never going to do nothing, and look what he did. And while they were building and taking on live opponents, Jarrell Miller, Flip Hergovich, Alexander Usyk, and now AJ, he's fought top fighters. AJ was not doing that, so people were just going off of his past glory. But yeah, it was a great fight, man. It was a great fight. One-sided, beat down, and there was no nerves. Dubois showed no nerves at all. Happy for him. Happy for Don Charles. Happy for his dad. And you know that's all I can say, people. But at the end of the day, we already know what time it is, man. So I'm gonna say it again. Dubois next move, the winner of Fury and Usyk. That's what the move should be. The winner of Fury and Usyk. Dubois needs to fight that person right there. And then that's a true passing of the guard. But AJ, I'd say he can hang around the sport and just collect paydays. He don't need it. He's had a wonderful career. He's had a beautiful career. It's been decorated. He's won all kind of belts. I think the only belt he didn't win was the WBC, but he's won every other belt. Starting where he started, the money he's made, the star he became, you got to take your hat off to him. Got to take your hat off to Eddie Hearn, the way how he's promoted him. But this happens to all of us in life. You could be flying high in a job. You could be flying high in whatever career. You could be flying high in anything. There is some point where it has to end. And that's all that happened to AJ. It's ended. He's not going to be champ again. He's not. I mean, they can try and sell it to the public. It's easy to sell things to the British public. But at the top level, it's done. The top level, I'm talking about fighting man like Fury, Usyk, Dubois. It is done. At that level, is done. He can collect paychecks because he's got a name. But winning belts and being undisputed and being the best is done. And that's it. And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's done. We seen it last night. He looked slow. He looked tired. He looked nervous. He looked shook. And when he fell on the floor, it looked bad, man. I hate to see man go out like that, but it is what it is. So that's it, people. Hit the like button. That's it. We gone.